What's up, guys? It's GhostRobo, and I think if there had to be a nuclear apocalypse, this is how I'd want my city to look. Like this crazy industrial jungle with greens and reds. It just really seems like a crazy fun place to explore. This is another match of guerrilla warfare, this time on Gracht, which is one of the new maps from the DLC map pack that was just released for $5 on PSN. It also is available with a lot of pre-orders from certain retailers for free. Two things I want you to pay attention to, though, during this match. I did pretty well in it, but I really want you to watch for the revival mechanic. You'll notice right there, I just killed that same guy twice. I took him down once, he was revived by a medic, and then I got him again, and that's going to count as 2 deaths on his score total. I understand that medics want to get in there and run through a crazy firefight and say, hey, I'm going to get some points for myself and revive a dude, but it's really detrimental and ultimately a negative for the person being revived, because most likely you're going to get insta-killed, and then it counts as 2 deaths for your personal total, and I don't know how I really feel about that. I think it's kind of a misbalanced system where the medic is getting points, and you're ultimately being hurt, and it just doesn't seem to really balance out all that well. The other thing I want you to really pay attention to is the corner gameplay, and what I mean by that is a lot of times in Killzone 3 it seems like a couple of your teammates will bunch around one side of a wall, and you'll have 2 or 3 opponents on the other side of the wall, and there'll be this crazy firefight going back and forth, and whoever ultimately ends up winning more of those corner fights seems to, more times than not, win the overall body count match. And that may seem like a very simple gameplay mechanic, like, oh, going around a corner, not a big deal, but I find it really cool and really interesting in Killzone, because teammates seem to stay together a lot more here in this game than in most other team deathmatch shooters, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the maps are large enough where you typically can't get killed very easily from behind. A lot of other shooters, you'll be bunched up with some guys, and someone will say, hey, I'm clever, I'm going to run around the other way, come from behind, and take you out while you're focusing all of your fire and all of your vision in this direction. It doesn't seem to really happen to me very often in Killzone 3, and I think a lot of that is due to the lack of symmetry in the map design and the lack of recognizable or distinctly recognizable buildings and landmarks. You're kind of always fighting for ground and trying to gain some advantage over the opponent and not really so worried about navigating to a specific point on the map. I find it interesting too. I've been listening to a lot of the dialogue in the lobbies, and someone was saying, is there a campaign in this game? And they were asking, is that single player or multiplayer? And I just found it really strange, because I always thought that people probably were buying Killzone for the single player. I know when I picked up Killzone 2, I really wasn't that much of a multiplayer gamer at all. I've just sort of really gotten into online shooters the last 2 years in particular, and so I was all about the single player and jumped online and didn't really have much fun because I was pretty terrible and kind of sucked at it. But I find it really strange and really just a weird dichotomy that some people are picking this game up with no knowledge, apparently, that there is a campaign. They just see maybe a commercial for the multiplayer or a video on game trailers or something like that and say, hey, this looks like a fun time with my friends, and don't even realize that the main focus probably of Killzone 3 is that single player storyline. And I always used to play games for the single player. That was the main draw for me. And then I'd say it was right around Modern Warfare 2 when I really started thinking, hey, I'm going to delve into the other aspect of this game. And I think that the whole idea of whether you're a multiplayer gamer or a single player gamer plays a huge role in defining your experience and also your skill set in gaming and what you enjoy, because like I said initially, I didn't really like multiplayer, and therefore I was much more about story, and I feel like that really shapes and defines my experience with most games. I have a lot of friends though who only bought a 360 for Call of Duty, games like Madden, stuff like that, and so they're all about multiplayer. And when I say, hey, why don't you go and check out Alan Wake, or why don't you go and check out Uncharted 2, they really have no interest, because they're really not conditioned to like stories or be looking for a cinematic experience to define their fun time with gaming, and they want to just battle it out and kill some dudes and rack up score points, which is perfectly cool and perfectly fine. But I think the whole notion of when did you become a certain kind of gamer, what game was it that made you love multiplayer, or what game was it that really turned the corner and said, hey, I can like single player as well as multiplayer. To me, that's a really interesting thing to examine and look at. What was the shift for you, or was there ever a shift? I'm doing pretty good right now, and you'll notice that I have 4 deaths, and really I've only been killed 3 times if you take out that ugly revival death that I picked up 2 in a row right there. But for the DLC map, I really enjoy Gracht. There's another map, Solomon Market, and that one is playable in some of the other objective modes, so that's kind of a bummer that they're not both used in every mode. The other bummer is that once you're in Gracht right now, you're stuck in Gracht. It won't rotate or allow you to vote to any other maps, which just seems like a huge flaw in the online design, so hopefully they'll patch that and fix it And if you play all the modes for $5, 2 maps, that's a great value. But if you're only going to be playing Guerrilla Warfare, the Team Deathmatch mode, 1 map for $5, I don't know, it becomes a little shakier there. It is a great map, though. A nice throwback from Killzone 2 with some updated graphics and some new jungle twists to it. I do want to remind you all as we wrap up here to make sure to send me all of your Killzone 3 awesome gameplay moments. Upload them to a file sharing site, send me the link via PM on YouTube, and I'm going to start a top 5 plays series. I can't wait to see what you guys have done. I had almost double the score of all my teammates here. Pretty good game. Can't wait to bring you the next one. But thanks a lot for watching, guys, and until next time, we will see you later.